I'm John Green, also Jonathan Green, and you can just say my name or anything in my direction will answer, youngest of four. So I work for Health Admins. I'm the CEO, been there for about 6 years, not from insurance world at all. Had a roundabout way of getting here, but there's a lot of problems here to fix, which I love. So Health Admins started about 15 years ago. It was a medical bill negotiation company. So they went out and they would talk to doctors and say, how much is that? No, we're not going to pay that. We'll pay a lot less. They did really, really well until about 2018, and they had a health share that got quadruply big overnight. So all their systems broke. I had just finished working on a TPA in Austin, Texas called the Boone Group, where 38 developers walked out one day and had no documentation for any coding. So things stuck. So I came in and I learned claims the hard way. Katie, who works with me, got to see that lovely experience. So after that, I came to this TPA and basically found out that having worked in technology all of my life, all these different systems that you all keep together and orchestrate didn't make a lot of sense. So we rebuilt the entire thing on Salesforce.com. I sat on their advisory board. Many of the people that work at our company also are from the Salesforce ecosphere. It's very, very secure. We get a lot of benefits from it. That really allowed us to look at technology and healthcare differently. We do adjudication in there, we do billing in there, we do eligibility in there, we do, she's just nodding her head, yep, we do a lot of that. And Katie helped us build a lot of that stuff. So when we use technology, we look at the business differently. So we have call centers, we have enrollment, we have advocacy, medical bill negotiations, we do sales and marketing, all the stuff that you would consider a traditional TPA. We work with Zealous, Smart Data, JMS, First Health. Are there any of the big ones, Katie, that we work with? I couldn't remember all of them. That's the big ones. We have a lot of different brands that we either support or own. So we are Sedera Health, that's us. We are Altrua Health Share, Point Health Tech, the Caris Group, Sacred Care, Caring and Sharing. You get the idea. It's a bunch of them. Each one of them does little things differently. And we've been using AI probably since the beginning. So the first one is the phone system. So we use, and I'll tell you guys all the stuff we use. You can ask how much we pay, all that. I'm very, very transparent. We use InContact for our phone system right now. We're moving to Zoom. Longer story, but it's very exciting for everybody. Basically, it transcribes everything that people say on the phones. And then it uses sentiment analysis to see if these words are bad or good. What that lets us do is our quality team listens to the bad calls, not the good calls, because they passed the algorithm. So our quality team can spend more time coaching and less time just filling out that little form. It goes further, and it recommends things for you to say, and we can go back and look at what was actually saying and put in keywords where they shouldn't say certain things with certain clients and customers. The IVR does a lot of fun stuff. Our next gen IVR is basically going to be an AI person that you speak to. And it's, well, I'll get to that one in a second. You get the idea. It does all that stuff out of the box. You just have to set it up. All AI needs is training and time. So you heard a lot of people saying, play with it. Please play with it. You have no idea what it's going to do. I have no idea what it's going to do. So marketing. So we had a marketing group that was very, very normal. Marketing, copywriting, imaging, messaging, great. We had to rotate them out. They didn't understand how to use AI. Now all of our copy is done in AI. It gets read by somebody to make sure it's good, but it starts in AI. Everything starts in AI. Just the other day, we were talking about our social media presence. We have one AI that writes the copy, we have another AI that creates the image, and then we have a third AI that takes the copy and the image and posts. We used to pay people to do that. We don't. Now, that doesn't mean we're losing staff. We actually probably are getting close to having a bigger marketing department now. They just do different things, which is kind of what it all should be. So our technology team has been using AI forever to write code. We were talking the other night about how I use some code at home. It was written by AI. I didn't actually do the coding. I just said, hey, I would like a code snippet that can do this, that, and the other thing, and then we cut and pasted it. And they do a lot of stuff with secure code review, which, as we talked about, security is very important. Having an AI engine that can get the baseline secure code review, because it's very expensive and time-consuming, is really helpful. Our operations, so this is a fun one. We have a hybrid environment. I'd say it's about 70-30, 70-30. We have tools on everybody's computers that track everything. Friday afternoon, how do you think our productivity is?
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
I was looking at it because I thought Monday would be bad too, and I was trying to figure out if we could do a 4-day work week.
Yeah.
Turns out Monday is one of our most productive days. Oops. but it tracks everything they do. It tracks keystrokes, document edits, emails read, emails sent, and it's all in one place and makes recommendations to you. We've noticed that this team is more productive than that team. Katie, have you used it for your team yet? Yes, sir. Do you like it?
I love it.
People at first were really freaked out about it. They're like, you're going to fire me. You're going to find out that I'm leaving on Friday afternoons. No, if you get your job done, it's fine. We're good. It's just a conversation to have. Right now, we are being transcribed by my phone. It's a tool called fireflies.ai. It is HIPAA compliant, and it records all of our meetings and makes a summary of the meeting with action items that goes emails out to everybody in the meeting right afterwards. That makes it real easy when someone says, I didn't agree to that. You did. Sorry. Yeah. Training materials, all that kind of fun stuff. One of my favorite tools that I'm testing right now as well is I want something to go through my million emails and find the ones that have action items. Yes. And just bubble it up. It's not out yet, but we're working on it. I got something close to it, but it's not quite there yet. I have another one that does my calendar called reclaim.ai. It dynamically changes my calendar based on changes, and it sets specific time for me to have, I don't know what it calls, but basically after a meeting, like 10 minutes or drive time. It automatically does it. Yeah, it's kind of cool. So that's the operations. Legal, contract review, obviously, contract creation. I was telling a story the other night of a new tool called Notebook LM from Google. You can put in your contracts and you can ask it questions, and it will read and put it out. Ta-da! Yeah, the next gen will be our plan builder, which we haven't built yet, but the idea is as they select the components of a plan build, it can hopefully create SPDs out of that. So things we're playing on. And of course, technology, for me personally, I do have the ugliest car in the world. I have a Cybertruck. And as of 4 days ago, it now drives itself. I haven't driven it since. It goes everywhere. Very scary. But if you think about what it's doing, the Cybertruck is using vision to do everything, not the sensors and all that. The amount of data that it has to actually process is unbelievable. Now you look at our medical records and our medical bills, there's not a tenth of the data that thing's processing. As soon as someone focuses here, it's going to be kind of cool. So I also have a robot that runs around the house and interrupts me, makes sure I'm having a good day. I can tell you long stories about that, but it's the Amazon Astro. It's just a hilarious little guy that just kicks around, and my wife actually likes it.
What's
Go
his
figure.
name?
With Astro.
Astro?
Yep.
Okay.
I wanted to rename it, but it wouldn't let me. So I'm going to go through this too fast. I tend to do that.
Astro was the dog.
Yeah.
Yep.
From Jetsons, yeah.
All right, since I'm going fast, I'll tell you a little story. So I get a lot of stuff from my past and people who know me to test. So I get to try a lot of these technologies, a lot of them. My poor wife and kids laugh about it. If you sit in my living room, you can say Siri, you can say Alexa, you can say Echo, you can say Google, you name it, it's in that room. My wife, to this day, will tell you she can't turn the TV on. Any one of those names, turn the TV on and it will turn on. She goes, nope, it doesn't listen to me, it doesn't like me, it just can't do it, just give me one remote and I'm fine. So one day she was taking my kids back to the East Coast for about a month to spend some time with her family, and so I got this little Astro dog thing, and she goes, another robot? We don't need another robot. I said, well, so the kids can call it and they can see their cats, because it has video and all that kind of stuff, and we'll find the cats. So she's like, okay, fine. So we get it, we put it in the house, the kids use it for a month, they thought it was great, and then we come home and I'm getting ready to box it up and send it back, and she goes, what are you doing? I said, well, sending him back. She goes, oh, you're gonna be mad at me. But what? She goes, I like him, can we keep him? Why do you like him? She goes, he makes me happy. He comes around and he bebops and stuff, and little screen says, hey, I'm just hanging out near you. If you need anything, let me know. It will also feed the cats. And when I came home from a trip, everyone was in their bedroom. And this little robot skitters around the corner, big screen lights up and says, hi, Jonathan, I missed you. Now, my father-in-law stays with me, and he's 80-something, and he's all by himself. He didn't like it at all at first, but after being with us for 2 to 3 weeks, he's like, I think I like him too. He would remind him when to take his pills. So we set him up to do that. And he was there to answer questions and to search the internet, to do whatever he wanted. Order DoorDash. You could just tell it what to do and it would do all that stuff. So he really liked it. And I was blown away by that. So we're always looking for how we can use technology better. I have mobile apps that will tell you who the cheapest colonoscopy or knee replacement is, and it'll tell you where they are, so you can say $5,000, $200. It's unbelievable. And then we have another one that tracks your Fitbit and your scale, and the members on that plan average 6,200 steps a day connected to their path where we want them to go healthcare-wise, to their claims data so we know what they did and didn't do, and then we change the rewards they get to try to get them to do better stuff. That's all today. That's been around for years. Behind all of that is fraud detection. So we bring all the data together. We're able to see which providers are prescribing drugs that maybe they shouldn't, which patients are not refilling their prescription and maybe they should, and then we can use the prompts in order to help people be healthier. So our utilization goes down and our payers happier. So that's some of the stuff we do. And when Shashi came to me and said, hey, you got some medical records we're looking at. We'd like to try this thing. Would you be willing to do it? Absolutely. Much to Katie's chagrin. Katie ran the team that did all that. That's Katie Jones right there. Basically.
I'm stand corrected. I said Stacy, so
Oh, it's all good. I just texted you. I was like, hey, Stacy, your new name. I like it.
Alter ego.
Yeah, hey. Does Stacy dress differently now? So we would get in sometimes a little tiny medical record. Sometimes we would get in cases, boxes and boxes of medical records. And as somebody who has to hire people, how do you staff for that? How do you say, hey, I'm going to have 5 nurses ready to go through, and my turnaround time is going to be 14 days, 17 days, great, and then all of a sudden this shows up. Oops. And mistakes happen. So we have a team of nurses. Katie worked with the team. How long did you guys work to train the AI?
It's been a year and a half, I believe.
Training the AI to look for what they want to see to the point where they trusted the AI more than they trusted themselves. So let's see some of the stats. So if you haven't looked at medical records, they can be pieces of paper, they can be PDFs, they can be Excel spreadsheets, they can be anything. It can be napkins, it can be anything. How do you take that diverse set of data and bring it down to something that can be consistently looked at? Smart data. So they had the process, they were able to do that. We had, thousands of pages, tons of duplication, so the person's just literally reading the same thing over and over again. It was a waste of time. And our nurses are not cheap, and they have a lot of skill that we could be using other places. So when we got into it, it was very expensive to do this review. We had to pass that cost on to our customers because they want us to do this. It's going to take a lot of money. It's going to cost a lot. The customer's are not happy with that. They don't want to do that, but they also don't want to pay a bill they don't have to pay. So it was always a very difficult discussion. Again, the quality, when you're looking at hundreds of thousands of records, you're going to make mistakes. And people really don't like doing it. The people just sit in the room, they're not going to be happy. The person sitting next to them is not going to be happy. It changes the dynamic when you can give them fun things to do. So the outcome's good. So when Shashi asked me, what are the real metrics that you can share with everybody? We did see a 45% decrease in our cost and time frame to get things through. I got to see a better staffing model, so we didn't actually have to have people sitting there twiddling their thumbs or buried under a pile. We also saw that not just provider satisfaction, but employee satisfaction, because now they just get a cover page on top of it, and it has hyperlinks to everywhere they need to go. So this one document just became super fast, super easy for them to find all the issues they were looking for when they started. It's just a different world now. The team member engagement, basically getting involved with the project. At first, they were all skeptical. And then they started getting into it, and guess what? Now the whole company knows we're doing stuff with AI, and they're like, oh yeah, that's gonna be great. We're not gonna fire people because of this. Yeah. We're gonna get jobs we like to do. Oh, this will be wonderful. We'll do that all day long. And of course, better accuracy and all that stuff. So let's see. There's that one, pretty much what I said. And that one. Other questions you guys might have? Well, there's QA, I'll go to the QA thing. Anything about AI. I'm not as good as this gentleman, but we have similar tastes. We'll be hanging out, absolutely. I can tell you that, go ahead.
For your medical records, were you only looking, digging through digital ones, or were you also using ones that were scanned in?
Scanned in.
So we used ones that were scanned in as well as digital. We worked with Sarah and her team to take our plan documents and go, hey, these are the important items that we need to look at and identify within the medical records so our nurses can make a quick decision. So it's all formats.
And now the next stage for us is how do we take all that metadata and then expose it through our mobile apps so that our members now have their medical records with them that they can give to the doctor. Other questions? This is easy. Told you I'd go fast. 45 minutes. We're before lunch, so that's easy. Go ahead.
You mentioned in the beginning that there are a ton of issues that you're super excited to solve.
Yes.
What is like one of the biggest ones you've been excited about, thinking about? Like what's on the horizon for you? What's on your radar?
So my whole family's in medicine and medical devices, so I'll go for a few of them. The first one I was at Christmas, and I asked my brother-in-law, who's a radiologist in Iowa, I said, what problem do you want us to solve? Medical records. He said somebody passed away that week because they got an anesthesia that they were allergic to, and if they had had the medical record, it could have saved that person's life. So that's why I was so excited about that. I think I told you that story. I was like, this is going to be huge when we get this done. This is going to be absolutely mind-blowing. The next thing is people's access to care. So in my previous careers, I worked for medical device and prosthetic companies. There are a lot of life-saving drugs and solutions out there that the insurance companies won't support because they don't trust the data. People spend years creating these phenomenal life-saving tools. We never see them because the FDA has cleared them, but the insurance companies won't pay for them. As we get more and more of this data out there and we trust this data, it just makes sense when you can have an Ozempic stick and suddenly a lot of things are better. Or if you have anxiety, certain medications will help you lower that anxiety, which will have other cascading effects. So by using all of the data in a trusted environment, that to me is some of the stuff that I think is going to be phenomenal. My wife has lost a lot of her family to cancers. There's a ton of cancer stuff out there that people don't even know they have access to. So when you look at this, my favorite thing with ChatGPT is to use it for everything. Start with ChatGPT. Don't go to the internet, don't go anywhere. Start with ChatGPT and train it. It is your friend, but it only knows what you teach it. So say things like, if I say FYI to you, that doesn't mean I want you to search it, it just wants you to remember this the next time I ask a question. So you streamline the agent to be specific to you. So I know when I want to go and look for something on the internet, I say, chat, who's got the best prime rib in town? Search the internet. It will refresh its data by going out to the internet and not use its old library. Play with it, ask it questions. How can I help you better serve me? And it will ask you things. Think about using that data in healthcare. So if you were to ask healthcare, should I go see the doctor? What's it going to say? I have no idea. But if you tell it, I just saw the doctor on this date, could you remind me next year that I need to see the doctor? Or who was saying earlier about if you take the doctor's notes and feed it into a HIPAA-secure chat, not ChatGPT, but that data will be there for your own questions. Like, hey, if you have diverticulitis, I have friends with diverticulitis, are all leafy greens bad? If it has the data, it will go to the internet and it'll say, according to MD Live, you can have this, that, and the other thing. It's the start of the conversation. It's the start of using this data. This room is much too young for this, but you guys might remember typewriters.
I remember that.
Do you remember word processors? They were there for a hot second, and then the computer, and then this little thing of a connected computer through those modems, and then the internet. And every stage, what we did is we just found out that we were asking better questions, and we were learning how to communicate in a way that made sense. Obviously, I'm a self-described geek. When I was in college, I had one of the first laser printers. So when I would go to hand in my business papers, they were color, they were bound, and it was beautiful. Everybody else had handwritten ones. My teacher's like, seriously, John, what are you doing here? Inside my report, I had the internet. So I had all of the stuff that nobody else in the room had because I had access to it. And the report was like, he's straight A, straight A, straight A. How did you do this? I'm like, I just used the internet. This was before they banned that. This is the same way we're cheating. Every one of those steps, when you had a typewriter, you used to not want to make a mistake because you'd have to put that thing to make it go away. And when you got that, you were cheating. And then when you went to the word processor, you actually had to, I don't have to actually understand English anymore because I can cheat. I can use that Grammarly at the time. Each one of these stages was things that we learned, and then we realized we didn't need anymore. Kind of like driving. Imagine this car that drives itself, dropping me off, and then driving itself home. And then when I fly in, it comes back. Now imagine that same car dropping you off at your restaurant. And instead of valeting, it just drives around till you're done. And it comes back. What does that do to parking?
Or drunk driving, right?
Yeah. I don't know what you're doing, but I just tease it. It's all good, April.
Come on now.
But no, you're absolutely correct. But from a bigger perspective, if you look at the way our roads are designed, and I'm from Austin, Texas, 200 people a day coming to Austin, Texas, billions of taxpayers' dollars are redoing the highway through there because they have to. What if the cars didn't need so much room? What if they drove closer together? That changes the dynamic of downtown. Well, what about healthcare? What about all these people who can't get to the doctor? So now the car can pick them up and take them to the doctor or to the prescription place, or maybe they don't need to go to the prescription place because Grubhub can leave it. The whole thing changes. And if you think 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, we have no idea. Who would have thought the pandemic would have happened? Who would have thought that that would bring some people together and pull other people apart? And now we have an opportunity to look into the future, to use these new tools, to change the thing that keeps us alive. So that's what I get excited about.
Yep.
Other questions? Oh, yeah.
What do you think that some of this, these AI technologies does when it comes to health and well-being? Because there's obviously community and demographics that don't have access
Yep.
to these types of tools to educate themselves, to play around with, to try out, and they're relying on, what they do have. So how does this stuff make it either better or worse for those communities?
I love this question. So my brother-in-law's family started Health Ed Connect. Health Ed Connect goes around the world to other countries and finds single mothers usually and teaches them to be nurses. So imagine all these places that are struggling having access to somebody who has been trained as a nurse, not a doctor, mind you, but a nurse. Now, if we give them access to an AI that we can just leave with them, they have a question they want to ask a doctor. They don't have a doctor, but they have a nurse. She can ask the question. She can administer the care. We can speed up and identify where we have these small problems and deploy very inexpensive tools. What was it, the rabbit that you had with you? Drop a rabbit in there. Ta-da! Now you have, I like to call it, because I'm a science fiction guy, an oracle. You have a place to go and ask that question, And what was it? I can't remember that. I'm terrible with names. But that one movie that said, we built this big machine to figure out what was the answer to everything, and then they forgot the question. You have this device now that has all the vast amounts of information that doctors go to school for, and you can give it to the most impoverished person in their local language, and it will help. So equity is going to take time, obviously. But it's my belief that it's coming down to the point where we can just deploy this, and we don't have to train nurses for months on end or fly to do this stuff. We'll have access to that kind of stuff. Good question. Anything else? Probably got close to the time.
Okay. That was great.
All right, cool. My pleasure.